Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Good and Faithful podcast. I am your host, Jessica Clark, and I hope you guys are having such a good day so far or have had a good day, depending on what time you're listening to this at. So, today I'm welcomed with a very special guest. Everyone, please welcome my friend, Michael DeLise.
Hey, how's it going, guys? So I learned something about my name recently. It goes
Oh,
to Lisi. Apparently,
no
my
way.
great grandfather, whenever or great great grandfather, somebody when they were coming over, changed it from Delisi to Delis because the Irish didn't like the Italians then, and supposedly that was either the change that they could sell more shoes as cobblers, or somebody fat fingered that when they were coming over on Ellis Island.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I didn't know that. So I guess all this time I've been saying it wrong, but have you been saying it wrong too?
I guess so. Yeah.
Wow. Wait, when did you figure this out? Recently?
Yeah, this was a conversation that I had with my dad at one point. Well, his dad as well. And was there anything documented about this? No, but there's only so many Delices in this world. My dad's his even has like a space in between the name, the DE and the LISE. So I guess I'm not even his son.
Oh my gosh, wow. That makes you an orphan or
Yeah, I guess so. All of us.
oh man, that's such a bummer. Wow. I don't know how to move on from that
No, thanks
conversation.
for having me on here. I'm excited
Yes,
to
yes.
have this conversation. I've been listening to the podcast for a while. I mean, shoot, ever since we met about a year ago.
Yeah, it's
Um,
crazy.
it's been, I feel like I know you even better than a lot of my friends that I've known for a long time. And I think some of that we'll talk about today as well.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's been so great to know you. Yeah, we literally met like a year ago at Run Easy Run Club in Atlanta, which is crazy. And it's been so fun getting to do all of the running things together and just seeing how you've been doing all these crazy runs and starting your own run club yourself. It's been truly inspirational. And some of the things that you're doing, I could never do. And I know we'll talk about later on in the episode, like this Moab 240. Yeah, props to you. But
I'm excited about it. Excited and always moving.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, I am grateful for our friendship, and I know we have so many topics to cover today, and I'm so excited for the listeners to get to know you as well. I know we also have a few other listeners who do know you, some just from the city of Atlanta, some from Run with Christ, some with Run Easy, things like that. But yeah, a lot of people know who you are. I feel like you. I feel like you just know a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. I'm passionate about the community building and shared challenges. And I think by doing like challenges together, like running and going through that, you end up building better community and stronger bonds and those friendships, and they're meaningful. I think definitely in a day with so much technology, it's hard to have some of those friendships. But things like Run Easy, things like Build with Christ that we'll talk about, Alpha Fun Run, Run with Christ, like all these things are bringing people together in person, and you could tell people are hungry for it. So I'm very passionate about hosting events. I'm sure some people they've been to the things that I throw at my house, looking to put on some concerts this year.
No
So
way.
really excited. Doing a lot with it.
Yeah, no, it's so great. I remember last year, it was in the spring, which was like peak for me. It was so much fun. I felt like there were so many different events going on in the city, so many running related things too. And I remember going over to your house and a group of us did the Hills and Horses 10-mile run. And I remember that being so much fun, but also so brutal at the same time. I had never ran that fast before, and with that elevation gain, it was a lot, but it was so much fun to do with a group.
Yeah, no, I was surprised. Everybody was keeping the same pace, and what we all hopped in the back of my pickup truck and we
Yes,
drove over
yes.
there. I like remember sending my parents that picture. I'm like, this is why I have a pickup truck, and there's a ton of people in the back of the truck.
Yeah. Oh,
That was fun, and it was like springtime. There were still flowers out everywhere. I think there was somebody that got a little sick with the pollen, but
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you always have to have one. I
I know.
think I think we're going to be starting that up again as well. So if there's
Oh,
anybody
man.
listening, excited to have them up here and enjoy that as well. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I know. I'm so excited for that. I am excited because the weather's getting a little bit warmer. I know on Sunday, as we're recording this Sunday is the Atlanta Publix half marathon slash marathon. I'm doing the half. Michael is during the fall, which is easy work for him, which is so crazy to say that, but it's going to be warmer. I think it's going to be like 50 or 60 degrees on race
Yeah,
day morning.
I'm excited about it. It actually reminds me a little bit. One of the first races that we did was that 50K in,
Yes.
what was that called?
Oh my gosh. Oh, like it wasn't Shoot the Hooch, or was it?
No, it
Run
was
the
something
Hooch?
similar. Shoot.
That's going to bother me. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh
We'll
no. I
figure
have
out
to look
what
this
it is.
up. I
But I
have to look.
remember
Oh, Loop
going
the
to
Hooch,
run
right?
Loop
Or
the
no,
Hooch.
no, no.
Yeah, Loop the Hooch.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yes,
That
yeah.
was fun. Yeah, that was myself, and then other Michael Consul did that, and then Michael Arango, and everybody put together a team, and that was a fun, group challenge. What Annie
Yeah.
was there, Anna was there.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a fun way to really kick off this community.
I know, it was so much fun, and that was something that I wasn't planning on doing, but I remember it was Easter weekend, and I ended up staying in Atlanta that weekend because I had a bridal shower for one of my friends. But then you had asked about me doing this, and I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna do this like relay." And then all of a sudden, I was like, "You know what? YOLO, I'm signing up." And it was so much fun. And I remember the night before too, we all like went to your house, we made pasta, and it was just so much fun.
Tried to make pasta.
That's true. Yeah, we did try to. What was the problem? I can't remember.
I think we didn't mill the flour fine enough or
Oh, yeah,
something like
true.
that. But it tasted good. I think it fueled us for the whole race.
Yeah, it was edible. So, yeah, no,
Yeah,
it did help. So,
that was fun.
but all these core memories, yeah, no, it's been so much fun. And it's crazy that that was literally almost a year ago. And so many more memories in between that as well. So it's been really fun to like get to know you and just see everything that you're doing in the community and for the community as well. I know we have so many topics that I want to cover today, but before we get started, I want to start us off in a word of prayer just to make sure that we're in the right headspace and the right heart space as we go about the episode. So, I can go ahead and just pray us in.
Let's do it.
Okay. Dear God, thank you so much for this day. Thank you so much for all you are and all that you've done for each and every one of us. God, I just pray over this episode. I pray that you would give Michael and I the words to speak as we go about these topics that we're going to discuss today. Thank you for Michael and the person that he is. He is so friendly and encouraging and inviting, and also someone who loves you, Lord. I just pray that for the people who are listening to this episode, they would listen and leave feeling so encouraged, so inspired by Michael and his story and all the things that he's doing for the kingdom and just things that he's striving for in this life, working on doing all these runs and building community, things like that. And for anyone who is having it on their hearts to maybe want to go out and do like 50 milers or 100 milers, or they have it on their heart to start a community or have it on their heart to start whatever it may be, Lord. I pray that you would just give them all the tools and the skills and the courage and the strength that they need to be able to do that, Lord. And just thank you for the opportunity that we have today to be able to sit down and just share about the things that are on our hearts, Lord. I say all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So we'll go ahead and get started with today's episode. So, Michael, for the listeners who maybe don't know you, how would you describe yourself? Just tell us a little bit about yourself. I know we've already talked about a few things, but just what else do we want to know about you?
Yeah, totally. I'm passionate about building community through shared challenges, whether that's through endurance sports or events like running, building social gatherings, faith-based initiatives like Build with Christ. A lot of the journey that I've had has been learning to trust God and his timing and just step forward even when things don't feel certain. But I'm especially now interested in learning how shared effort can create that deeper connection and transformation within all of us, and that's been like a journey. So I feel like I'm constantly learning with that.
Yeah, no, that's so good. You're talking about these shared connections and how that helps us grow. What are some examples of moments or things in life that has helped you to have these like shared challenges and spiritual formation? Is that through the runs that you do? What is that through?
I think it's definitely through runs. That's where I started noticing it more. We all go through different challenges in life, and something that we found common is that we like to run. And there's a lot of people now around me that we like to run, but it's not just running for running's sake. It's building that community with it. And there's something special when you're suffering together,
Yeah.
especially when you're sprinting and pushing yourself, that you form this bond. It's like, whoa, that was hard for me too. And we both went through that, and we saw each other get to those moments that we thought that we were going to quit. You know, about a month ago, I did a marathon in Athens with my buddy Michael. And at one point, I think it was like mile 20 or something, had to stop because I really had to pee. And my legs just locked up. And, he stopped and was waiting there with me. And through the rest of that, like my legs were getting real tired. We were doing I think we're aiming for like a 3:15 marathon, ended up finishing, I think, closer to like 3:30 at that point. But I think both of us looking at each other, going through that, like, whoa, he's in pain. That helped just bring us closer together.
It's always great to be able to share moments like that together. I know that was probably a hard moment for you when you weren't able to achieve the goal that you had for that race, but just knowing that you had someone by your side, someone you were able to run alongside, and someone who was there for you, like he didn't leave you, he like stayed with you. And I feel like that is just, that just really says a lot about community and the community that you have around you and the community that people want to have in their lives, like people who are going to run alongside you. And so it's been really inspirational to see how you used running to help build this community around you. And also, even just you going to Run Easy, Run with Christ, things like that, and creating, I guess, a safe space or just being a light in those spaces too. Even if it's not something that you started, like you're still showing up and being a friend and being a light to others. So that's just really encouraging. So, question for you about running. How long have you been running for? Have you always been running? When did you decide to start doing all this?
Yeah, good question. I get this asked a lot, and I'm still trying to figure out how to answer it best properly. So I've kind of always been running, whether it's running from problems or no, but
Yeah, that's so fair.
running from something or running to learn to process. I think back in high school, I started running with my dad and didn't have a watch or anything to record the runs. Wasn't listening to music. It was just, oh, this was something cool to do with, my dad. And that eventually led into the first half marathon around that Thanksgiving time frame. And that was like such a crazy distance at the time that it was just, whoa, well, I completed this and finished it. I think it took 2 hours, and that was like the goal. And that was the average that people did at the time. But then there was a long period after that where I would go run to process my thoughts. And that was my kind of safe space, if you will, where I just did it for fun or did it to get out of the house. Growing up, I was homeschooled, and along there with I have 8 siblings.
Wow.
And
I didn't realize you had 8 siblings.
yeah, there's 4 brothers and 4 sisters.
You've probably said that before. I didn't remember that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a full house,
Wow.
and everybody did different sports. So we didn't, running was that thing that I did that was something a little different, but never formally with races. That eventually led to my brother at one point asking, he said, hey, I'm going to run a marathon this year. That's going to be one of my core things I want to check off my list. If you want to run it with me too, you can. And I was like, wow, that's a long distance. I don't know that I want to do that. That's a lot of training. You actually have to commit to something. I was like, sure, we'll do it together, brothers. It was fun. I was like, wow, doing all this running together. I mean, most of it was separate, but like 2 weeks out of the race, we ended up not getting to run together. So he ended up hurting his leg and had to do a half marathon, and, was kind of met with that decision. Do I change or do I keep doing this? This wasn't even my goal. I didn't sign up for this, but, there God put me, go run the marathon. So did that. And I would say that was probably 27, 26, 27. And that was my first marathon. That was the first real race. So from high
Wow.
school to then, that was like, big spread.
That's crazy. Hey, so then since then, which first of all, doing a marathon is incredible, but since that point, you've done obviously so many more marathons, but more than that, you've been doing these 100-mile races, finishing those. And then on top of that, you're preparing for the Moab 240, which is 240 miles? Is that right? Oh my. That's
I've learned to
insane.
add up those little pieces. They feel those feel like really long miles once you get to the end.
Gosh. How long would that take someone? Or like what are you trying to plan for with this 240 miler?
Yeah, so there was a movie I saw called King of Moab. It's kind of inspired me to even look into this race. I didn't hear about it before. The guy who won that race finished it in 69 hours. I remember that because he laid on the ground after finishing, curling up in a ball, and he's like 69.
Oh my gosh.
So I don't think that will be the goal, but that gives me like a frame of reference. If that's what the winner is doing, then okay, how many more hours does it take to do this? I would be ecstatic if I could get somewhere around 80 hours. There's a 112-hour time limit to complete the race,
Oh wow.
and right, not everybody completes it for many reasons. But yeah, that's the goal.
Wow. But 80 hours is like over 3 days.
Yeah,
To think that you'll be running for over 3 days straight like makes my legs hurt. Sometimes even after like 30 minutes, I'm like, I've got to stop. But wow. So when is this race? So we can all be keeping you in our prayers.
sure. No, the race is in October, so it's later
Okay,
this year. So
gotcha.
definitely have some time to train. There are a lot of pieces that go into it, not only just running and getting time on legs, but also building the strength so that those muscles can recover quicker, learning how to fuel properly, learning how to run with sleep deprivation. As you said, it's 3 days, and that's a long time to be running. So I think there's like a couple of moments where people can sleep in between, and you get that cat nap. You just crash out and then keep going. And right, it's pushing your body to the limits. So I'm
Yeah.
curious where it goes.
Definitely a test of your endurance and your faith, which is crazy. And you've talked a lot about this, like voluntary hardship. Like you were actively like seeking out these opportunities to go run hundreds of miles. So you've talked about this voluntary hardship as a form of spiritual formation. How does physical endurance also shape your spiritual life?
Sure. No, I think I should clarify first, like to do an event like this, like there are a lot of people that are involved, whether it's training runs or even just being out there and going through some of that together is big, right? That's part of it. So I don't want this to sound like it's all me by any means. I'm blessed to be the channel of doing this, but need other people with that. I think going to your question, yeah, I think one of the biggest lessons there is perfection in anything is important, but that can also like delay some of the impact that it has. And as you're going throughout a challenge like this, it's important to remember that just doing it is is so that there's a lot of times where you have to think back that I was put in this situation and this ability to do something like this and not take that for granted, but trust that you were there, that God put you there for a reason. And that if you're on this path, that, you know, there's something that you're either learning there or that you're sharing with others, or inspiring others, or just, pulling people together to support, this mission of getting this thing done. From a faith perspective, it's trusting in God that, you know, he's got your back, that, he's going to be able to push you through this. There's no way, like I said, that I could do this alone. In that King of Moab video, which is on YouTube, so you can just look it up or you can include it in the show notes. There's a point where Max, he's running and he's like, I can't go any further. And his legs are seizing up. And this is a professional runner. He's done a lot of these runs. And he takes a nap and he wakes up. And I'll never forget this because you don't hear this with many athletes, or at least not historically. And he got up and he's like, it's like God gave me my legs back. And I think that recognition of, one, God is all powerful, and two, that you have to trust him, and that if you're getting through this, you're getting through this with him. That is important. And knowing that God's going to be there every step of the way. And that's just for the physical part. Like, think about the mental part too, just going through the thoughts. Andy Glaze says, whenever he looks down at all the pebbles, it looks like a bunch of trolls running around. I think that trusting and preparing your mind for some of these things as well is really important. And I think as long as it's directed towards God, He's going to always keep you in that right direction to go through these.
Yeah, no, that's so good. A lot of times in these moments where we have nothing else in us, it's important to rely on the Lord for the strength that we need to keep going. And He always provides. And so I feel like it's really cool in those moments, especially things like a race, when you do really give it to God and just trust and you see Him pull through. It just shows of His goodness and His faithfulness to us. So I feel like it's a cool way to experience that. So
Definitely.
yeah, I want to talk also about the fact that you're preparing for this 240 miler and the time and the energy and the runs and everything that you'll be doing to prepare for this big race. How do you step into something so big without full clarity or guarantees? Because I know you even mentioned that a lot of people don't even finish this race.
Yeah. There's never a guarantee in life that anything happens. And you have to, I don't think it's taking a gamble, but because I don't fully believe in luck. I believe that, there's a lot of opportunities that are presented to you, and you kind of build your own luck, if you will, by accepting those opportunities and saying, hey, this is something that I see as valuable and I'm going to take it. I don't, I didn't, this is the first race that I've signed up for that I said, I want to complete this. All the other races have been something that somebody else invited me to. Even the first 100-mile race,
I didn't
I
realize
didn't sign.
that. Wow.
Yeah.
Usually it's like you inviting all these people, I thought, but wow.
No, no. Another buddy, Michael, we actually had like a group of people that we're gonna all do that first 100-mile race together, and then 2-3 weeks out to the race, everybody's like, "Oh, I'm dropping. I'm not gonna do it. I'll do the next one." There was a moment of, hey, like, am I just doing this by myself? Ended up my buddy Quinn ended up doing it as well, but it was a little lonely there. I was like, I didn't sign up for this. I don't have to complete this yet. All these other people, I told them I was going to do it, so I guess now I got to do it. And realizing that what was the reason for doing it? Was it just the community of me going with these friends to go do this race, or did I see it as a challenge for myself? I had to reframe the thought a little bit. But at the end, you're doing this. These are solo races, right? Even running as a sport, it's a single leg sport. I don't think people realize it. Like, it's the strength you're running on one leg or you're running on the other leg and hopping through here. It's both legs aren't working at the same time. And same thing, you have to make that choice for yourself. And choosing to do that was that was tricky at the last minute.
Yeah, but how was that experience when you did actually decide to do it, despite your friends dropping out?
It was a little scary, not gonna lie. You flew over to Oregon by myself. Got there, met with Quinn, got to stay with his family. They ended up crewing for us,
That's
which was
sweet.
awesome.
Aw.
But it's also like it's people that I don't know. I didn't have this relationship with them. And
Mhm.
as we went along that race, there were things that would come up in my head that I want a hug from my mom.
Aw.
I want this, like, nice, loving, caring hug that, somebody that smells familiar, and I don't have a person here for that. And
Aw.
at the end of the race, I was like, man, I really want a leg rub, a foot rub, something. I was like, I don't really know these people. I can't ask them to,
Don't ask them to rub
hey
your
Quinn,
leg.
would your mom give me a foot rub? I'm like, no, that's weird. Even though she would have totally done it. I know she would have. She's so sweet, so
Aw.
kind. But it was more like that. I just didn't feel that way at that time. And yeah, it was a lot. That's where you have to, rely on the training that you did before and hope that you were prepared for the moment and trust that, as long as you showed up, that God will take the rest of it. And, you're there as his vessel.
Yeah, honestly, that's a good way to look at it. So, for anyone who's listening to this and is feeling inspired by you to go out and sign up for these 50 milers or 100 milers, or for me, I think I want to do a 50K, and I think I mentioned this to you before. What's some advice that you'd give to me and also the listeners if we want to go and take that step of faith in doing a long run like that?
No, don't do it at all. You'll get sucked in. It's horrible. No,
No.
no, I joke. It's honestly, it's amazing. The hardest thing is taking that first step and signing up. Once you sign up, that's your deadline. And then you can build backwards from there if you want to put together a detailed plan. But also, like, grab other people. Like, don't do the challenge alone. Whether it's just the training alone or the training together as a group, as a team, or actually doing the race together. That makes it more fun. And when you have people with you, it's enjoyable. And there's so many other people that want to do that challenge as well. I think an important point to make here was a year ago, we didn't know each other. A year ago, I didn't know any of the other people that I'm running with. And I didn't even know about a 100-mile race, let alone a 240-mile race. And when you're pursuing something that you actually want to do, that you want to go towards, if you want to do this 50K, then say, I'm going to go do that and run towards that. And then as you're going towards that goal, look around. Who else is also going for that goal? I want to, bring it back just to God in a second, even relationships. When you pursue God and you're running in his direction, you're running towards him, look around at the other people that are also running that same direction. Don't just look at, all the other shiny things that are to the side. Those will come. God will put those in your life at different times. But whatever it is that you want to do, run towards it and then look around and say, who else is going that direction? That is the biggest thing to being able to do these things. And shoot, even like these bigger races, pick one, sign up for it, and then see who else is doing it and do it together. It makes it so much more fun.
Okay, well, noted. Thank you for that. Now I'm gonna have to go find some other crazy people to run a 50K with me this year. So,
By the time this airs, we should hear what all your viewers, when you should sign up for it. And if anybody else wants to sign up with it for you.
yeah, maybe I'll send a text out. We'll see if anyone else is feeling a little crazy.
Send Jess some 50K links that you want to do.
Yeah, yeah. When I post this on Instagram saying new episode, I better see in the comment section some 50Ks in the area or just in this year. Oh my gosh. We'll see. But anyways, I do kind of want to switch gears a little bit because you were talking about the importance of having that community alongside you when you are pushing for different goals, like what you mentioned with all the running. So I wanted to talk about building community with a shared purpose. And like we mentioned before, you've organized a lot of different events and even clubs. Like you've been doing Alpha Fun Run, which is a run club in Alpharetta, and also your Horses and Hills on Saturday mornings, which I've had the opportunity to attend, and that's been so sweet. I will say, I will go to Alpha Fun Run when I do decide to wake up early on a Friday morning, I promise, but it has been really hard.
I will totally make a plug for this. Would love for everybody to come join us. It's really the first run club that I've noticed here in Alpharetta. We've got about 30, 40 people that show up and it's fun, right? We're running about a 5K. It's out and back if you want to run less. I constantly get asked if people can just come and walk because they want to be part of the community. They want to get out. Yeah, it's early, but that weeds out all the people that were out partying the night before that, don't want to get up. Now, Jess, I mean, you live in the city, so it's a little bit of a far drive for you
A little
there.
bit,
Totally get
yeah.
that. But at the same time, right, it's finding all those people that have that same common purpose and you want to do that. And what's beautiful is we're now talking with the local Chick-fil-A on doing a race with them.
I saw
They
that. Wait,
tossed it up
that's
on their
it.
Instagram. This local restaurant, TBB 122,
Mhm.
Theo Brothers Bakery 122, it's right around the corner. They're now opening an hour early for us. The barista's showing up early, and just we get the whole place to ourselves for that hour before they open for coffee and pastries, and we get that community together. It's a really fun thing. Where every Friday, 6:15, meet at Wills Park.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I knew all this information before, but you saying it again, I'm like, okay, now I really need to go. So you best believe after this half marathon stuff is over, like I will be showing up. I'm going to make a point. So yes, but everyone else who's listening, if you are in Alpharetta or if you're near Alpharetta, you guys should show up. From what I've seen, it looks like a really sweet, close-knit community. Getting to do life together, getting to run together, and also just these opportunities that you've had to partner with Chick-fil-A for something that could be so exciting. And then also even places like TBB 122. I love that place. And the fact that they're opening up an hour before just so you guys can have that like shared community time there is so sweet. And I just think it's really cool that there's something like that up in Alpharetta. 'Cause I actually used to live up that way a while back. But I don't anymore.
I
But
didn't
it
know
would
that.
have been nice at the wait, what?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, I grew up in Canton.
Okay, I totally, yeah, that slipped my mind.
Yeah, no, I grew up in Canton and Woodstock, but I moved home for like 6 months after college. And during that time, that this was before I moved to Atlanta and met literally everyone that I know now. And so it was kind of a weird season. Like I was going to a church in Alpharetta, but besides that, like I didn't really have community there. So it would have been so nice to have this. I would have totally joined. But for the people who maybe are in the same boat that I was in, you guys should check it out because you'll be very surprised at the amazing people that you meet. And also what you said too. I feel like there's a specific type of person who shows up to a 6 a.m. run club.
Mm.
And it's cool to see all the like-minded individuals who do show up, people who are determined, they're focused on the same goal, they value community. I've met a lot of very intentional and nice people through this group. I met my boyfriend through Run Easy, which is like the Thursday 6 a.m. run club. So that's been cool.
Which I must add, Jackson is awesome. And I can't remember if it was you or if it was him. Like right before you guys were official, or right as you were saying that, I was about to say like, you two would be like really cute together. And like I was about to send that text, and then I saw that I was like, oh my gosh, like
Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah, you guys,
Wait, that's so funny.
yeah, you
Well,
could
I'm
feel
very
there was
flattered.
similar energy there for sure.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's a good thing. So, well, thank you. Yeah, it's very sweet that we met through a run club. It's a good story to have. So,
Speaking of like people that are in the, you know, in that mindset with Run Club, question for you: what was that like the first time you went to Run Easy, and
oh my gosh.
what were your thoughts before, and then what were your thoughts like going there?
Yeah, that is a good question. So, my first time going to Run Easy was the spring of 2024, and this was when the group was like 30 people. I went because I had just started running at the beginning of 2024 because I was sitting in a cubicle all day for work and I was going to the gym and I was walking a lot, but I wanted something that was more efficient, like another way for me to work out in less time. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll pick up running. And I used to hate running. I played tennis, but I never did like long runs. I would only do like little sprints here and there. So started running on my own, and I found it to be such a sweet way for me to spend time with the Lord because I would like blast worship music and go run out in nature, and it was so much fun. The only problem was I felt kind of alone at the same time. Like, yes, I was with the Lord, but also I kind of missed that like community aspect. Like I wasn't running with anyone, it was just myself. So then one of my friends who I'd met in Atlanta, she was going to Run Easy at the time with her older brother, and she invited me to go because she knew that I had started running. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'll go. And it took me like a few weeks to actually get up at 5 a.m. and show up to this run club. So then I went one morning and it was so much fun. It was up in Cochrane Shoals, throwback to when we used to meet there, but it was really sweet. I was able to see the sunrise and I met some really
Oh
cool
yeah.
people, got to connect with some people who I had known before. But it was really cool. And I started hanging out with them a little bit throughout 2024. And then in 2025, I decided to go every single week because at that season of my life, I genuinely needed community at that point more than ever. I don't know if I told you this, but I was in like a very brief like relationship that I didn't know how to get out of, and it was with someone who wasn't like nice at all, and I didn't know how to get out of it. So then at the end of December of that year, I had finally gotten out of it, and I felt like I was at like one of my lowest lows in life, just confidence wise and just with my faith. And I was just struggling a lot. And so I made a point. I was like, okay, I'm going to start going to Run Easy every week because I feel like I need this community. Like, yes, I had church community, but I still wanted more. So I started going to Run Easy every Thursday in 2025 leading into like the fall. And then I was like more sporadic. But I met so many people just in the span of like January to March of 2025, made so many new friends, so many cool friends. I had met Jackson literally a year ago yesterday is when we met. Or I guess, I guess we had met a year ago yesterday, which was cool. I didn't want to date him because I was like, I don't want to date, period. And then I got to know him through the run club and all of the activities we were doing outside of the Thursday runs, which eventually led to us dating. But more than that, just the Run Easy community was more than I had ever dreamed it would be, I guess, because not only did we show up at 6 a.m. and run together and do these hard things together, like doing like 4 mile runs. And then occasionally I would, do a 8 mile run with you guys. And it was really fun to do that, but also getting to do things like the Saturday horses and hills. And also I was able to help organize like a tennis group through Run Easy. And so I got to
Oh
play
my
tennis with
goodness.
some of the people from the crew a few times. And that was really exciting. So, Run Easy provided a lot for me, a lot more than I thought it would. But genuinely, like, I'm so thankful that the Lord did provide in that way because, I mean, He knew what I needed and He just delivered like far, far beyond what I was expecting. So that's just been my experience. And then being able to do these races together and having these opportunities to run the Publix Atlanta Marathon with Lululemon, like that's been a really cool experience too, getting to do all these events like as a group. And it just reminds me that like I've gotten to know all these different people over the past year and created these friendships. Like I'm just so thankful that the Lord has provided that. Like I really can only thank God for all that He's doing within this group. So that's just been my experience. So
It's crazy when you go towards something that you want to do, that you like doing, that you enjoy, and you feel that energy with everybody else all together. It's magnetic and it helps every other aspect of your life just flourish. So yeah, it's the right spot. And so many people waking up that early in the morning. I remember
I
thinking, I was like, oh, it's gonna be like 20 people or something, maybe at tops. You show up and it's like 100 people, and like, whoa, it's a lot. Yeah, you quickly find, that your group of consistent people that are all, you got your Christian values and want to push themselves. And sometimes you find yourself in that, I'll say, wrong crowd of people that ran 8 miles instead of the four. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's what we're doing today.
Yep, that is exactly what happened to me some mornings. I'd be running with the wrong groups.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can't complain. I feel like those moments definitely push me beyond what I think I can do. And then after those 8 miles, I'm like, wow, I can't believe I did that. And it's not even 7 a.m. or it's, before the workday and I already accomplished so much. But I wouldn't have been able to do that without those people by my side. So yeah, it's just been a blessing to have Run Easy and then the community that's come along with it. So it's made Atlanta feel like home, truly. So I'm really grateful for it.
Jess, I really appreciate you inviting me on your podcast. A little while ago, you invited one of my friends, Michael Lyons, and he was on here. I'm not sure if you remember what episode that was. It was a little
Months
ways back.
ago. Yeah.
We actually partnered together and started an event. It's March 7th. It's called Build with Christ. It's a really cool initiative. If I could share a little bit about that.
Yes, I want to hear more. So, yeah.
Yes. So, um, the heart behind it is pretty simple. There's a lot of powerful tools today, and like AI, and they're transforming businesses and industries. But sometimes the organizations that serve people most directly, like the nonprofits, like the ministries, like just local communities, they don't always have access to the same capabilities or the same people or resources to utilize those capabilities. So, talking about technology, which is a space that I'm, super familiar with, we wanted to create a space where people could get together and actually build something together that serves others. So we're hosting an event on March 7th where we're building a tool for a nonprofit live, kind of like a TED conference, and getting teams of volunteers together to actually do this. And what's cool about AI is, right, it's English language. There are some technical pieces that we have the people that are helping pulling those together. I always love those people coming, but anybody can help and be a part of this in any aspect. And once we build this tool, that we give that to the nonprofit to be able to use and be able to serve more people. So it's a fun way to get everybody together to learn about new AI tools and actually build something that is truly like serving the community.
Wow. Wait, that is so cool. Well, March 7th. What time is it going to be at?
10:30, I think doors open, and then 12 o'clock is when the build starts. And we're making it family friendly, right? So, right, it's all built around strong Christian values, and right, the family is that, right? That's the
That's so
nucleus
sweet.
of the church. So we also have like free childcare that's happening at the same time. So make sure you register so we know who's all coming. We know how much food to provide, and if you have kids coming, register so that we have enough babysitters that'll be there as well. But if you don't know anything about AI, talk table topics, and we're going to be talking about specific things. If you know a lot about AI, then we'd love for you to volunteer and join us and help share and grow this movement.
Wow, wait, what a cool opportunity to be able to use AI to, support others and build the kingdom too. I think this event is going to be super cool. And for those who are listening who are interested, you guys should definitely sign up. I'll leave the link in the show notes below. And I'll also link it when I publish the episode and share a post on the Instagram as well. But that sounds like a really cool opportunity, honestly. It's so funny because I remember when AI came out, and I will say it was after I graduated college, which is so rude. I wish they had it in college because I really would have, benefited from it, but maybe it's for the best. But I will say, like, when it first came out, I didn't know what it was, and I was very skeptical of it. I was like, oh my gosh, is AI going to take over the world? AI is the devil. Like, AI is bad. And I genuinely wondered for a while. I was like, what is AI going to do? And how is that going to impact our future? But it's so cool to see events like this that are going to happen, or events like this that are happening, to show that we can use AI for good and that we can serve others with it. So I'm curious to hear from you. How can modern tools like AI be used to serve others?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, as long as they're used in a virtuous way, I think that you can use pretty much any tool. It starts with the core values of why you're using it and how you're using it. I mean, tools like this, they come around all the time. This is a big tool to be able to use, and there's a lot of different ways that you can use it. There's a lot of ways that it can improve our lives and actually deliver something better. When you're thinking from a product perspective, it's able to deliver a better product for that end consumer. And as long as that's the goal, right, then it's going to help everybody. And I think as we dive more into how AI is changing and how it's going to change the not only technology but like the workforce landscape, it's going to be the people that know how to use AI and utilize it that are going to be replacing the people that don't know how to use it. So having events like this are really important so that people can learn about it, because AI itself isn't going to just replace you and your job, but it's the people using it, because you still have all that knowledge in your brain. We're not there where it can just totally do everything. And even as we've been building out this event, we're using AI to build out a lot of it. And you find a lot of holes. It can get you really close, 90% of the way there. But then that last little 10% is so important. And when you have the human element at those events, that's what it's really about. It's about, enriching people's lives and using these tools together in a virtuous way for virtuous things, not just to, replace jobs. But, it's tricky. Like, there are going to be people that will be replaced if they're not a continuous learner, learning how to use these tools. So we want to be able to provide a space that is free, that people can come and, get that knowledge and, upskill, if you will.
Wow. Wait, that's incredible. And I think it's a good way to look at it too. Like, this is the future. And so you're providing this opportunity for people to learn more about it, and to also get hands on as well. So, is everyone who's going to attend the event going to be able to have their hands on the event? Or is there an option for people who just want to observe that they can just watch or just see what's going on?
Great question. Yeah. So we are filming this event kind of like a TEDx conference. If you've ever been to a hackathon, then it's a lot of people that are building something together and they're competing with it. In this case, we're actually building different pieces of a product and we're putting that all together at the end. And this is our first one that we're doing this, but it's also a production. So people are going to be able to watch this and stream it live on a couple different YouTube channels. All the links will be at buildwithchrist.ai. And yeah, you can watch it while we're going throughout the production, but also afterwards. We'll be sharing that, and we're going to do another one. So, like, as this goes well, this is the framework to be able to do this, and eventually be able to do this, throughout the US or other places as well. If somebody wanted to take this model and do it. Very similar to Run with Christ as well, where you take that model and spread it through other cities that need it by people that want to be able to promote.
Yeah, I love it. That's so exciting. And I honestly have never heard of anything like it. So I think it's going to be a hit. And I'm excited to see how it goes and just how people are impacted by it.
Definitely, it's a blessing to be able to help people, but it's an even bigger blessing to be able to help people help people.
Yeah.
You learn, I mean, there's so much learning that goes into it, and it's rewarding. It's life-giving when you're doing something like this versus just self-serving with it. But at the same time, it is also self-serving because like you're learning with it, but it's not in a bad sense by any means.
Yeah, definitely. So, for those who are interested in attending this event, how can people learn more about the event and where can people register?
Yeah, so we've got all the socials, buildwithchrist.ai. I was about to say .com, but buildwithchrist.ai is the website. That would be the first place I would point people. There's the Instagram. People can go through my Instagram. You can look on LinkedIn. We're all over the place. Build with Christ is the name of the event. If anybody reaches out to me directly, happy to get them signed up. Happy to share more. If you want to get involved in some way, would love to talk with you about that. I'm always about growing that community, expanding, not network just for network's sake, but for the purpose of growing the kingdom and finding ways where people fit and how we can help and serve others.
Yeah, definitely. Using our strengths, talents, and abilities, which is so
Definitely.
good. Yeah, I love that. Well, good stuff. I'm so excited to see how all of that turns out and just the future of Build with Christ AI. So that's awesome. So, well, thank you for sharing everything that you have about your run club, running in general, and Build with Christ, all these things that you're doing in the community and for the kingdom as well. What are some big things that you have planned aside from Build with Christ and the future of your run club? What are some things that you've got in the books? What do you have in the future?
Yeah, no, it's are you saying that Moab 240 is not big enough? I have to do something bigger.
Besides that, we've talked about that a lot. We
It's
all know.
just like
Besides,
just like my dad. You got to do more. No,
okay,
no.
okay.
I'm somebody that I can't stop moving. I love creating and doing things. Later this year, I'm going to go to Kyrgyzstan, which is in the middle of Central Asia, and I've never been there before. It's not a place that is easily accessible, but traveling is fun. And last year got to go to Yemen with some of this group, and I realized going to those places is fun. It's exciting. It helps show you different perspectives. Ironically, I end up learning a lot more about my faith when put in those situations in a positive, challenging way. So that's big. I need to stain my deck, which is, it doesn't sound big, but there's a big deck out there. And I've
Yeah,
been
that you
putting it
built.
off because I've been a little nervous to do it. And there's a lot of work that goes into it. And yeah, and then just, figuring out where God needs me and what he needs me for. The other thing, I'm working with a buddy. We're building a software for schools to help do some client compliance reporting and auditability for their executive teams. So if
Oh,
there's
wow.
anybody in the school systems, we're focusing more on like private schools, charter schools at first, but would love to get feedback and stuff with them. So always trying to move and find, where does God need you and answer that call.
Yeah, wow. Okay, all exciting stuff. That's so fun. That country, how do you say it? Kyrgyz.
Kyrgyzstan.
Kyrgyz. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. If you try to spell it, it'll keep autocorrecting to Kurdistan, which is right next to it. So the
Oh,
stands.
wow. Okay, why that country? I've literally never even heard of it.
Yeah, it just started popping up on my Instagram, and I said, that one. It looks a lot like Switzerland, where it's this natural, beautiful landscape. There are
Wow.
horses, and I love horses. I've got this like painting of a buffalo right behind me, but ever since I was little, 3-year-old Michael would say, when Michael grows up, Michael wants to be a cowboy and ride a big horse. So when I saw this trip with horses, you can go horseback riding in the mountains that look like Switzerland. I was there. I've got a few friends that are going to be coming on the trip as well. I think there might be one or two spots left if somebody was daring enough to go. That's going to be in August. But yeah, do you want to go, Jess?
Oh gosh, I have negative PTO. I don't think I could do it this year.
To work
I
the
would.
overtime.
If I didn't have other trips planned, I would, but I don't think I'd be able to.
Will you live an exciting life as well? This is, I'm sure we'll be going on one soon. Like this weekend, can be
This
doing a
weekend.
challenge this weekend. Yeah, for the
Yeah,
Atlanta Marathon. Well, I
I
don't know. I
know.
guess when this episode airs, if
Yeah,
we'll be
true.
afterwards tired.
I'll upload it soon. But yeah, no, I mean, we have all the adventures. I feel like you have a little bit more than I do, but I like to think that I have a lot of exciting stuff going on. And then I talk to you and I'm like, oh, my life is so boring. But no, I mean, it's so exciting to be able to live vicariously through you, though, and see all the cool things that you're doing.
I think if anybody ever feels that they will want to do something that it looks like somebody else is doing, then they should reach out and ask. I think comparison is the thief of joy in a sense, but also comparison is something that I see as like a challenge. And well, that's something that I want to do as well, if it's rightly ordered. But if somebody wants to go do something, reach out. When I went to Yemen last year, I didn't know anybody on that trip other than Amanda, who we met in the Rum Club, and I, hung out 2, 3 times together with her, and I was like, wait, there's a cool trip. Let me hop on this, not knowing anything else. Level. I think it's a level 4 advisory country, so like the U.S. does not want you going there, and it turned out pretty safe. Didn't die many times, and
Well,
it was awesome. It was a fun trip. We got to meet a bunch of great people, got to see a culture that I've never seen before. That was my first time in the Middle East. And the whole reason it worked out was because, I was like, I saw people that travel and, jealous in a healthy way, and reached out saying, I want to do that. And that's the tipping point. When you go and you build your own life and you seek your own life, you seek your own way, you can do whatever you want. Which I like, that concept is so mind blowing to me because we're all human. Yes, we start at different places. There's different spawn points, right? There's different resources that we have, but we all have tons of opportunities that are constantly shown to us. And maybe at some point there's somebody within our life that helps us to recognize that's an opportunity. That's an opportunity. But it's still always our decision to say yes to that or no
that
to it.
is so
Not
true.
a good opportunity. And yeah, so you are doing so many exciting things that you say yes to. I'm also 30 years old, and I think that's a little older than you. I don't remember exactly,
I'm
but
24, so just a few years.
a
But
couple of years.
yeah,
So
I'm almost 25 though.
oh heck yeah. So there you go. Five more years, and you better be doing more than me here.
Well, I'll ask you all the questions. Yeah. You are an inspiration to many. But yeah, no, when I do decide I want to go to Kyrgyzstan and Yemen and all the cool countries, I will hit you up and I will ask for all the recommendations and I'll be following in your footsteps, so don't worry.
Let's do it. So
Yes.
maybe an interesting way to end this call. Can we sign up for that 50K this summer? Is that
On the
crazy?
call? On the call.
On the call.
I also have to look at my work calendar.
Uh,
But
by the next episode coming out, Jess will have signed up for a 50K. Do we all agree on that challenge?
I don't. We'll see. Let me get back with you on that. I want to. If I did do one, it would have to be more like August or
Okay.
September, which I know are like warmer months and it's, less fun to run in the heat, but might have to do it then. So I'll let you know. If not this year, then definitely next year. So
Let's hold her to it, guys. Hold her to it.
yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. Don't worry. But yeah, good stuff. Well, before you start having me commit to many other 100 milers and 240 milers, we'll end the episode. No, but just kidding. But I do want to close this out. I know we've talked about a lot of good stuff, and I know that the listeners who have made it all the way through the end of this episode are probably so encouraged by all the things that you've been doing for the Lord, for his kingdom, and just even out in the community as well, serving others, being a light to others. So Want to tell you, thank you for hopping on the podcast, but also just being such a light and such an inspiration to me and to other people.
Well,
So,
I appreciate being on here. Thank you for the invite, and you know, you've got a great platform that you built here. Got a great community, and there's a lot of people around you that are supporting you, praying for you, that are loving on you, and that's it's beautiful to see what you built, and I appreciate you including me in on that.
oh my gosh, of course. Well, thank you for the kind words. It really does mean a lot. So, yeah. Well, normally when I end the podcast, I like to close out in a word of prayer. Would you like to do the honors?
Not at all. Yes,
Wow. Okay.
I like to joke
I'll get
about.
ChatGPT to write me a prayer instead. It's fine.
Okay.
Pray
Uh,
with Christ AI. Don't worry.
I'm Catholic, so we always start our prayers with the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. God, thank you for this time. Thank you for Jess. Thank you for her podcast. Thank you for this platform that she's created. Thank you for each and every one of the listeners that are here with us today, listening to this podcast. We hope that we are able to share something that inspires them and helps them to live out their life and glorify you, and help them to direct their path towards you, and help them to find that community and that place where you're calling them to, and trust their heart and trust their gut, and realize that there's a lot of people out here that love that community, that love you, that want to be together and share that same common goal and purpose. And we ask that you help guide everybody together and glorify you. And in your name, amen.
Amen. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to the Good and Faithful podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please be sure to give the podcast a 5-star rating. And be sure to follow the Good and Faithful podcast to stay tuned for upcoming episodes like this one. Michael, thanks again for hopping on the podcast. I know that this was a long time coming, but I'm really glad that we got to sit here and talk about everything that you're doing. And also, everyone, look into Alpha Fun Run, look into Build with Christ AI, event coming up March 7th. So you guys should go check that out. I'll link everything in the show notes and in the Instagram post description. So you guys can check it out. But yeah, Michael, seriously, thank you so much. I'm excited to see you soon. Are you going to the Run Easy event tonight?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Pasta dinner, filling up on all those carbs.
Yes, I love carb loading. It is my favorite part of training, if you can count carb loading as training.
Do you think, a quick question, do you think it's a little early? I think I'm going to need to carb load tonight and tomorrow for the run on Sunday.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, if we started tomorrow, it might have been better, but it's fine. I won't
Double the
complain
carb
about
load.
a pasta dinner. Yeah, I'll just be very loaded. So yeah, I'll just Thursday, Friday, and Saturday we're eating pasta, so it'll be great. I can't complain about that. So yeah.
Love it. Love it.
All right, guys. Well, thank you all so much for listening to the podcast, and I will see you guys in my next one. All right. Bye, guys.